More updates for PTS Phase 2, Grand Galactic Sail, and diving into Dxun. These topics and more coming up on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 309. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. It's going really well. We just had our ops night, which is always a lot of fun. We had a visitor, a blast from the past, our friend Wags. So we're glad he's back and was able to run with us. So we showed him the Hive of the Mountain, Queen of the Bug Woman fight a couple of times because we did it on the pub site and the imp site.
I believe it's
And then we
pronounced
went.
Hive of the Queen of the Mountain or the Hive of the Queen.
Oh yes, you're right. I got that wrong. Then we went and killed Isaacs because we had a lockout for Isaacs because Coralie, our raid leader, had one for us. So we did that, which was, we did kill him.
Yes.
But there's only one person left standing, and that was Max, because everyone else got killed by that final blast at the end there.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that.
Yes, and I was very glad that because of you being alive, we did not have to start over on that fight, because we had time to do it again. I just didn't want to.
I did not want to.
Yeah, because I was chomping at the bit to come and do the podcast.
Yes.
On MFN this week, we did Dantooine stuff. We made groups and ran through the heroics on Dantooine, and then we did rampaging on Dantooine, and then we went to Terrace and did rampaging there, and many personal conquest targets were gotten. And I think we're probably pretty close to being done on the pub side. Conquest in general. Yep, we're at 800K, so just a couple 100K to go, 300K. And that is pretty much what I have to say about this week in SWTOR. But you have a lot more to say about it.
I sure do. So yeah, I had fun. I had fun doing that. Knock the queen out a couple times. We're living on the edge there. We're gearing up a couple new people. So we keep pulling people back in. So we gotta gear them up. We're debating on whether or not we want to push forward and start doing veteran mode queen before the end of the world as we know it. I think that would be kind of fun. We won't bother to do a lot of other hard modes, and we're certainly not doing it to get gear because all the gear is going to be obsolete starting October 22nd when we start getting 270 greens to replace everything. But I think that would be fun to get our 258 weapons by killing the queen a few times. But Isaacs, 2 weeks in a row, killing Isaacs, that's pretty cool. And here I am on my Sentinel. Why am I on my Sentinel? Summer of 300 is not over, is it? It is not.
It is kind of, because I got mine done.
Well, yours is. So it's waning. It's coming to a close. So I have 3 characters left. This character is at what? It's like 297, and I bet if I accept my conquest reward, my guild conquest reward, let's see what happens. There we go. Command rank 300.
I did it.
Achievement completed. Commanding Knight. All right, so now I only have 2 left after this, and I will be Resolute Commander. But I'm sure stretching it out, aren't I?
I'm waiting for you to we'll be doing the podcast one night and you'll be like, when is when is my last chance to do that last one?
One other thing I did this week is I ran Dxun. So Marcus has been doing a good job of getting some people rallied together on the PTS and running through some of the Dxun operation. So much so that I streamed it on Saturday night. We got through we went halfway through. We fought some of the second to last fight and saw a lot of the operation, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. In fact, I have video that we're going to go through while we talk about it, so you got that going for you. So yeah, that was fun. Let's check in on the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first up in the dev tracker, this is going on. This is going to be, I think it updates weekly. So the Grand Galactic Sale is going on, and yeah, it looks like each week they're going to add another, they're going to light up another mega sale on the cartel market. So this week it's uh, 50% off character slots and 70% off character transfers. And a new week 2 sale, mega sale deal will be announced on September 16th. So there's a calendar up there. Like, I think Dan is organizing communication on this. Keep an eye out. It looks like every week leading up to the launch of 6.0 is going to have some kind of mega sale on the cartel market. So got that going for you, which is nice.
Do you have any characters that you need to transfer?
I do not. I do not. I have characters on other servers, but I think I transferred most of the stuff that mattered back when there were cheap transfers for one, and for two, well,
Yeah.
also due to server merges, I think I've got everything I could ever want
I
on
have
this
a
server.
few on other servers too, but I think I would just like to leave them there
Yeah,
for a reason. Like if something comes up
right,
that we want to be on the server for.
right. That's a good idea.
Me?
Yes. What else we got in the news, Seema?
Um, Eric posted about PTS timing, which basically this week, now tomorrow maybe, PTS will be back up with the changes for Dxun that they made this patch for. There was a brief time when he thought some other changes were going to get in as well, but they did not make it. So no testing for loot acquisition this week, but it should be back next week with changes based on our feedback. So good deal.
Right. So we're eager to see those gear changes. I think everyone is. That's the thing we're trying to keep an eye on the most. And a key part of that will be the new vendors that they're going to put in. That's going to be a key component that I'm going to be the most interested in. We talked a lot about gear last week and what that journey should look like, what the path to your preferred set at 306 with your preferred tactical, what we feel like that duration should be. If those vendors are working the way we expect them to, that'll be interesting. But that won't be until next week, so we're keeping an eye out for it. We did get updates this week, as Seema just said there, on the Dxun updates. So tweaks and refinements to the way the operation works. I'd like to see it again. I don't want to burn myself out on running Dxun 50 million times, but I would like to see all the fights and be able to talk about them a little bit, and in their final forms. And this isn't even my final form.
And
So
I'm glad they're putting in a vendor that sells tacticals and set bonus shells directly,
yeah,
because a lot of the feedback was that they didn't that a RNG vendor was just over the top too much RNG. But
yes,
I if they were going for like mysterious, fun, you never know what's going to be on the vendor type of thing, then I mean, stick to cosmetic stuff like weird toys and pets and
right,
um,
right,
maybe decos or, but yeah, to make it part of the gearing system was just too much.
right. So in theory, they're going to keep the Kaizen vendor, and it will have rotating stuff, but that's going to be like special sales. So you'll have the main vendors, and then Kaizen will be the special vendor, but it won't be anything that you can't get off the main vendors. In theory, it'll just be you'll get an extra bonus of extra stuff on sale. That's about it for the main news. I didn't check this afternoon if anything changed since I put these notes together, but I think that's about it. But we do still have community news. New York Cantina, October 4th, 7 p.m. in Midtown, around there. Stitch, I think, is the name of the place. I'm
Yes.
98% now. I'm 98% sure that I'm going to be there. I don't have my flights booked just yet, but I'm real close. I think I'm going to tie it into some work business that I need to do out in at my New York office. So I think that'll be a really good opportunity. I hope to see all of you there as well.
Also, Mega this month, September, is going to be on the 27th. And we're going to run through the Magenta Crystal mission, which is a sort of a multi-planet thing. So it'll be some travel, there'll be some epic chat in Discord, including trivia contest,
Mm-hmm.
and probably some one or two other things. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Our trivia on our guild nights is epic. We have a couple people who are
Oh
really
my
good at
gosh, yes.
creating and finding some of the most obscure stuff, and sometimes it's the most obscure stuff you can imagine, and it always gets answered. It's really
Yes.
good. we have we
Yes,
have
it's
good
very good.
we have good question creators and good
I
answerers.
I enjoy it very much. And just to be clear, it's not from participating. It's from like being amazed.
Well, yeah, I always try to think up the most ridiculous answer and I put those in. That's all I
Yes.
do. That magenta crystal mission, ironically, uh, or serendipitously, for some reason, SWTOR, I don't think she realized that we were doing it, but just yesterday or today, I think it was just yesterday, she did like a tweet storm. It was like a seven tweets which sort of explained the magenta crystal and what it was and how you go out and get it. And I was like, and I replied, I'm like, hey, just so happens we've been planning this for a while. We're doing that mission. If anyone out there wants to come join us, it's open. We'll invite anybody on the whole server to come tag along as
Yeah.
we go and do that old school magenta crystal journey. So come join us. And of course, shout out to the chat room. Thank everyone for joining us as usual, as typical. Like seeing you guys in there and helping us out. It makes a big difference for us. So
Thanks, guys.
thank you very much. So I didn't think up a good intro to this.
Gamlid ist Franjan, Kupainanan.
For whatever reason, Kem Paul will introduce it for us. Yes, Ken, that's right. Kem asks Seema, would you rather fight in a horse-sized Dxun, or would you rather fight in 100 Dxun-sized horses? That's what Kem asks. So there you go. I don't know what your answer is, but you
He's
can think about it.
he's very philosophical, is Kimball.
Yes, he is. Dxun. Dxun is well, it is the operation. So Dxun is the moon, right? So the planet is I keep forgetting. Not Odessa, not Osis. Onderon.
Onderon.
Onderon is the planet. Dxun is the moon. Dxun is where the operation is. You get to it from Onderon. The entrance is on Onderon. On the PTS right now, you can also get to it from Odessa. There's the light bridge that goes up to it. If you want to try to get into it, I recommend running up that light bridge on the PTS and running through the door. If you're not in a group and not in an ops group, you'll fall off the edge and die. But that's hilarious. But that's where you can get in. There's also the entrance though on Onderon in the main royal compound there. So what I'm going to show you here and what we're going to talk through is what it's looking like so far. So I'm going to go to full screen here. And I'm going to swap over to a video that I have where, and I still have the video playing here. Stop, rewind, back it up. And we're going to talk through a couple of the fights and what it looks like and what we've seen so far. And I'm mostly, so Seema, you weren't there on Saturday, so I'm gonna
No.
be telling you about it, and you can tell me what you think about it.
Yes. I could grill you with questions.
So as I go through this, there's not much story. I mean, there's Dxun is not part of the main story. I don't think. It doesn't feel like I'm not learning anything about the fight between the Empire and the Republic. I'm not learning anything about Malgus or any of that. So I think it's sort of a side story in the same way that Ravagers was a side story to Shadow of Revan. That said, We will be showing off some of the mechanics, some of the like the puzzles that you solve, some of the fun little jokes that they put in here. So if you don't want any of that stuff spoiled, if you want to get into the operation and with a fresh set of eyes and not know anything about what's going on, then you're going to want to skip this segment, and you'll want to join up with us next week. So I'll give you that chance now to hit pause and come back to this after the fact. But because as we go through this now, we're gonna rip into the first 4 fights out of 5. We didn't finish the 4th fight on the night that we did it on Saturday, so you won't see that. Although I have a video, you'll see the first half of it. You'll see the start of the fight, and we'll talk about what we screwed up and what we expect is actually going to be changing. And I have another video on YouTube of the last fight from the tank's perspective, so you can't really see much, but you at least get to see the boss, and we'll talk about that for a second. All right, so that's enough warning. Here we go. We're jumping in here, and I've got some notes here about the entrance and where we get in. Let me skip ahead a little bit here. So as soon as you zone in, they did, from the time that we did it
So dark.
2 weeks ago to now, it seems like there was an art update. If you can see here, when I was streaming, I recorded myself. Do you see it looks like I have 2 heads right now?
Yeah.
I recorded myself with myself on the stream, so now I have to cover myself up. So if you
With the real you.
if you see me peeking out from behind my head there, now you'll know what's going on in here. But I'm gonna scan back and forth. I'm gonna talk about what's going on. You're right, Seema. It does look a little dark, right? I think they did.
It wasn't like that when we were here before.
Right, because we poked our heads in here. We joined in. It seems like they darkened up the sky. They darkened up the light. They also added a bunch more foliage. So you see those like these glowing cattail things. Bunch more
Yes.
graphical effects. Bunch more foliage. Bunch more of that kind of stuff. Which I think it's looking good. I'm liking it. So everything that they've tuned up so far, I really like. So this is the entryway. Let me get to where we start clearing trash at least. You can follow along. I think we were waiting for somebody to zone in. Yeah. So then there's a bunch of trash. There's trash packs. You're killing some of these shrieks that you got to kill through. This is a research compound, and the vibe I get, the feel I get for this whole research compound outside and in is very Jurassic Park-ish in some really cool ways. So I wonder if that was the inspiration. It's got to be a little bit of the inspiration. Nothing's super overt. Oh wait, back it up just a second there. You should definitely try to run in this door the first time you get in there. Just ignore those big lightning bolts that are shooting down at the ground around you from the lightning towers up above the.
Always ignore lightning. It's a good plan.
Now, as you go through here, you'll also see there's some extra champion mobs. So you're clearing out these champion mobs, and you start to see a couple extra effects that start to happen. And this is starting to prepare you for things that will come later in the fight. You see me standing right in the middle of this big poison cloud? Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. There we go. Step outside of the poison cloud. You clear some trash. Some of it wanders around. Some of it paths around. You got multiple ways you can go. You don't have to kill everything, but why wouldn't you? And as you go through, you're just going to see some of these plants here on the side. Those plants will become important later. We clear our way through, and the first boss that you get to, let me skip ahead just a little bit here. There. So pause. That boss is named Red. So you get a little bit of a voiceover. It's a really good voiceover between 2 of the researchers that are talking about what's going on. So there's 2 researchers that are talking about where you're at, what you're doing. You got to get through the compound. You got to shut things down because everything's going crazy. There's a third character that gets introduced once you're inside the compound, which is basically the AI that's running the compound. And that AI, to me, has a little, if you ever played Portal, The AI has a little bit of
Yeah.
a GLaDOS vibe to me. I think they could have even have gone a little bit further and made it a little bit more murdery. But it does a couple it has a couple murdery type commentary. It's not as self-aware and vindictive as GLaDOS, but it's got a couple murderous voiceover uh, things that it narrates for you. So this is the first boss. This boss got revealed on Marcus's stream. Its name is Red. It reminds me of Blue, which was the name of one of the raptors in the most recent Jurassic Park movie. So that's again another I feel like is a little bit more of a reference. You have to fight Red because apparently this communicator or some device is that you need to get through the compound is Red swallowed it. So apparently. So we need to cut Red open to get it out. So Red's a fine boss. The key to Red is a bunch of these clouds get dropped on the ground and a bunch of effects get put on your characters. I'm not going to walk through this as a instructional. This isn't a guide. This is just a look at kind of the stuff that's going on. There was a glowing plant over here. We clicked on it, and the spore clouds from that plant have a cleansing effect. There's a little bit of the voiceover that describes what's going on, and it says, here, like hydrochloric acid, advise not standing in that. So that red stuff is hydrochloric acid. The debuff that she's putting on you, you can see in the back there's another one of these plants that's glowing blue. You basically need to be kiting the boss throughout these canyons, and as those effects get put on the group, as those debuffs are going out, you can use those plants to cleanse everybody. In the harder modes, there's a bunch of these plants all around. We imagine in the harder modes that you're going to need to constantly be on the move, and you're going to need to be using these plants very strategically. In story mode, you don't need to be as you can see, we're not all dying here, even though some people are standing in the red now. I don't think anybody even died in this fight. So this fight ended up being relatively straightforward in story mode, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool kiting it around, fighting the boss. And did you see there in the background? Let me back it up just a tiny bit. So watch real close here while we're fighting the boss. I swing my camera around, and right there in the background, right across the back there's another champion mob that's like running around back here.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
That's the ads for the fights. The ads are just like in these canyons and they're running around back there. So I think there might be ways to sort of avoid them in some cases, and in other cases, some of them just come in and run in at you. So there are bits of ads throughout this as well. It's a good question from the chat room. Are these the bosses where Rocket Out, the extra charge of Rocket Out is really going to be useful? Probably. This is it. This is our time to shine. Can double Rocket Out. I can't wait. I think I did use Rocket Out, double Rocket Out once or twice in here, and I made sure everybody knew it. Made sure everybody just knew that I was so pleased that I had my second charge of Rocket Out there. See, I'm on the edge of the acid here. It's not feeling too good. Oh, I think I do die here, because I got trapped on the other side of the acid at some point and had to jump through. And I didn't die there. Okay, here comes another ad. Coming on in. We gotta kill that ad. You just burst the ad down, and then keep fighting red. All right, so that's boss 1. So, fight. Get a bunch of loot. So here's loot that got dropped. I ended up getting 4 pieces of loot off of the first boss. 2 of them were things with that were upgrades. So 271s were dropping. It was shells with mods in them. No set bonuses, but okay. So they've got loot dropping off these bosses. I was getting upgrades that were useful to me throughout the fight. So that's good. So that's a step in the right direction. In addition, the biggest thing I noticed as I was looking at the loot while we're talking about it is the the loot and the tech fragments that I was getting throughout the fight seemed quite lackluster. In fact, we were getting like 15 tech fragments, and if you remember, it was like 300 tech fragments to buy one of those random crates. We don't know what the new vendors are going to look like. We don't know what the new prices are going to look like. However, each time you get a renown rank, you get 100 tech fragments. So, and I got at least 3 renown ranks, maybe 4, over the course of the night. Okay, so with that's not too bad. If I end up with like 450, 500 tech fragments by running an ops on an ops night, and I can get a couple gear drops out of it, that's reasonable. That seems appropriate to me. All right, so you kill Red. You get the unlock to get in the door. You go in the door, and then you fight the rest of the fight in the facility itself. You click on this door panel. Did we go in the right way, or this is the wrong way? I think this is the wrong way. When you first enter in fact, let me back it up just a little bit. Did I go too far? When you first enter the facility, there's laying on the ground here, there's a crate, and inside this lab here, watch this. There's this test tube tray with all of these test tubes. On the crate on the ground, you get basically it's like a flash grenade, a flash bomb, and out of this crate you get an antidote vial, and each of those is an extra ability that goes on your extra action bar. We ended up not really using them in story mode, so here's the crate on the ground. If you look in that crate right there on the right, it's got the little glowy effects in it. Now we have these extra actions on us. Those, in theory, repel some of the ads that we're going to get to shortly and show off shortly when we open this door. But we didn't really use them. So in story mode, maybe they're optional. And maybe in the harder modes, let me close the sound on that in the background. Maybe in the harder modes, they're going to be critical. And same thing with the antidote. We didn't really use the antidote. Story modes, maybe they're optional. In the harder modes, maybe they're really necessary. So here's the start of what seems to be the second fight. So when you open this door, basically you have this long gauntlet of constantly spawning ads. And what you need to do is you need to be fighting them as you go, be killing them as you go, but you need to keep on moving. And look, they're dropping little acid clouds. They're not really strong. They're not really too tough. We killed them pretty quick, and we need to keep on moving because from further along down the path, and this is like a little winding yard here that you got to get through, more and more ads keep showing up, and more ads keep coming and chasing you down. I think I'll hit the map wasn't completely finished, but I'll hit the map here in just a second. Try to pause it when I bring the map up, because it is kind of a winding path you got to take all the way to get through here and to get through these outside yards. As you go through here, you'll also hit a couple, another champion mob. You'll hit a couple what seem like mini bosses. So this seems to be the sort of the second fight. So first fight is Red. Second fight is this long gauntlet of all of these ads, and I think there's a couple way stations along the way. And I'll show you what sort of the ending part of this fight is. It's not a big boss, but it's sort of like a culminating fight. I'll show you in a second. But it is kind of a lot of trash and ads and keep on moving and keep on trucking. How's that sounding to you, Seema? Is that I know how much you like ads and trash.
Well, yeah. I mean, it kind of depends. If it's challenging and they have different abilities and it's a sort of nail biting kind of thing, then I'm okay with it. If it's just mobs that have a lot of HP that is just a barrier to moving on, then that's when I start to lose.
And it's not,
the will to live.
When you go into when you used to have to do all of Eternity Vault, and it would be like, okay, so here I paused on the map here. You'd have to pull a pack and maybe even try to CC one, and then you got to fight that pack, and then everybody heals up, and everybody,
right.
And then you got to reset, and then you do the next pack. It's not that. In fact, it's like the whole time you're like moving, and you got to be like healing and going the whole way, and it's never over.
More like an uprising.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like an uprising, and it's never so overwhelming that you need to like stop and heal up or run away or anything like that. So I think it seems a little more active in that way. So if you see here, we started here, we wind way around here, we got to wind through here, come through here, loop on down, loop on back up, wind our way through to this area. It's sort of almost a maze until we're going to get all the way to here. So we're going through all of the no, actually I think we're going here first. We're going through all of these areas and sort of like winding our way down and down and up and down and up till we can get to this next area here. And the whole time we sort of got to just keep on trucking and keep on moving. So I didn't mind it. I kind of liked it. I mean, if you're going to have trash, this is the kind of way that I think I would want it. Yeah, see, more ads just pop up out of the ground there. We'll bring some with us. Most of them are just like strongs and not even champions. So we're just AoEing them down. Nothing too tough. It's a little variety of different kinds. There's shrieks. There's these these underwalker type things like the Nephra type looking things.
Yeah.
We did get to a couple security droids here, which seemed like a little bit stronger, like a little bit of a mini boss. We got to a couple more champion ones like that look like what's the one in Scum and Villainy, the big that
Oh, what is that dude's name? It throws you into the balcony.
yeah, with the Hermes from Futurama, who's the trainer.
Yes.
She likes the eyes, or go for the eyes there. I'm doing a bad impression of man. Go for the eyes, man. She likes the eyes, whatever he says. Thrasher likes the meat, whatever he's.
Thrasher. Yes, thank you, Blaylock Gaming.
So here's a security droid so it was sort of off by itself, a little bit tougher. Have to fight that, but again, we're just keep on trucking, keep on moving, open the next gate, keep on moving through, and then so here we let me back up just a second, because this was a little bit weird. Then we opened the gate, we ran on through, so fine, we clicked that so we could open the gate. Then we're gonna run up this little hallway. I start to go the wrong way, and they're like, no, come over here. So then we run up there. These ads are following us, so we're just trying to run away before we get to too many more ads spawning. We're running up into this hallway. We click on the console. We get into this. Once you get inside here, you click on another console to close the gate. And then there's more of those, the flash grenades and there, I clicked the thing. So I just closed the gate so nothing else would come in here. We clean up these ads. And
that's kind of a cool thing.
And now it's kind of a break. So we're not done, but it's kind of a break. And this is something I didn't understand, and I meant to ask Matt about it. There was a loot crate. So finish. Come on, kill these. Be done. So here, laying on the ground. Do you remember? You can't. It's hard to see over here, but there was loot.
Because of the darkness.
At the end of Ravagers, when there was that missile that would be in the ground and you'd click on it,
yeah.
And that's what you would loot? That's what was here in the ground. And I looted some stuff out of it, as you can see. I looted a main hand weapon, an offhand. I looted an offhand weapon, a 272 weapon. So I don't know if this counts as like a loot, like half of like this half of it counts as a boss fight, but now we have another half of this gauntlet run. And we get another loot crate at the end of it, and another loot box at the end of it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's 5 bosses but 6 loot drops or what. So that remains to be seen. So anyway, you pause here, and then it continues, and you've got to run through more of the yard on the outside. Oh. So Matt Pusevich was on the PTS, and he'll whisper your group sometimes as you're on there on the PTS. And he made a point to say, look at all the fancy detail and hard work that went into the consoles and the graphics that were done. So we all paused and we all looked real hard at the consoles and the graphics. It was very here. Like you can see Matt talking in general and talking to everybody who's running it that night and talking to our group as well. So then we open up this next gate and we have another run through, another gauntlet, and this one gets even more interesting. So here we'll go out here. And you'll start to see this red message that popped up. The coils have temporarily lost power. Those lightning coils up on top of the building, this is the key mechanic for this next part of the gauntlet. There are ads coming along that are following you, and there are these lightning towers that now have intermittent power. When they are powered on, they are shocky lightning ouch. When they are powered off,
Yes, ouch.
then you can run around. If you hide behind these rock pinnacles when they are powered on, they will shield you from the lightning. Otherwise, you need to be running through. And there's a pond here in the middle, right? If you get close to that pond, scary monsters leap up out of the pond with long frog tongues, and they kill you. So you can see a couple people weren't used to those frog guys there, and they got sucked into the water and killed. Now I'm hiding here behind this rock pillar. Now the coils have lost power. I'm running through. That's how this all goes. Let's see, that guy got me. You need to basically kite your way around the outside. If you stay away from the water, those ads don't come out of the water. The coils are now coming back online. We're running through. You can take a couple hits of the lightning. You need to get all the way to the end there where I'm going, at the end of the hall. And this is sort of like the next part of the fight, almost the end part of this gauntlet fight. So I'm going to click the door console, close the door. I got all these ads coming in here. Did you see all of them like running down the hall there?
Yes.
And then all the corpses of all of the people that died on the way show up right here, so you could try to res them. I think we killed ourselves though here. I think somebody clicked the console. There's a blue glowy console you're not supposed to click, because if you saw down the hallway, there's force fields holding these ads back. So somebody's clicked the console and unleashed the hounds a little bit too early. But this is the end of the gauntlet fight. This is the main sort of... So if you could think of like the boss fights, this is kind of boss number 2. So you unleash... You open up those force fields because you need to get through there. And the AI, the GLaDOS AI, also short circuits and turns on the 2 security droids, and you need to kill those security droids as well. So here we had to do it a second time. We had to run through the lightning area a second time. And here we got to this final fight. This is sort of the boss fight. Kill the 2 champion droids, clean up any additional ads that are up, and then you get another loot drop, and you're done with the fight. So that's fight number 2. So here we are. We're fighting. So I kind of like this because it's fight the ads, keep them going, pause in the middle, refuel on the extra action buttons if you need them, although we didn't need them at all. Fight a slightly bigger fight at the end. It gets a little crazy because there's a bunch of ads coming in. Kill the 2 big droids before you kill the rest of the stuff to clean up the ads. The big droids get killed. It closes the force fields to block off so no more of these ads are coming. Clean up the rest of the ads. And then you'll see here in just a second, because we're almost done, then we'll get another loot drop and we're done with the second boss fight. So kind of unique, kind of different. I think that one's all right. I like it. What do you think of that one?
I like the setting.
So
I
this
like the
was,
sort of office building setting.
and
I mean, I love the concept of fighting inside like corporate headquarters.
so here's the loot crate that we're getting. Um, and it was a little bit of the outside yards of the corporate office building. This was some of the pens in this building with some of the consoles we're turning on and off. And here we're going to loot this. And as you just said, Seema, I think you're really going to like this next part then, because now we go deeper into the actual office building, and it's a very Zerka office, Zerka CZ198 type of feel going on. And, we're going through the office building and we're going into the main office headquarters. And then now that, now that we've infiltrated and we've gotten into the office building proper, we find out what else is going on in here and why everything's going haywire. And that, of course, is, if you've heard any of the lead up to this so far, it's because, of course, there's Trandoshans. And those Trandoshans have
Yes.
decided that, hey, all of these big giant monsters that we've all been fighting now, wouldn't it be cool if we came and fought them for Jagnath points for their scorekeeper mythology? So here you can see through the doorway, we're staring down the first wave of Trandoshans now that we're going to fight. So now the rest of the office headquarters here, you can see the office plants and some of the things are on fire and everything's kind of a little smoky and beat up, but there's lots of desks and cubicles and that kind of stuff. And Trandoshans. Different types of Trandoshans. These are Trandoshan warriors. The Trandoshan warriors, they're champion mobs, and they have a big cleave, and they wing their big stick all around. They're pretty cool. Let's go a little bit further here. Everything's on fire. It's pretty smoky. A lot of good smoke effects. There's sniper Trandoshans. There's like healer Trandoshans. We've got to find our way through this facility to 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 uh, to breach the end of the headquarters and lock things down. Somebody went and got, in fact, there's a canister that's, if you could, it was hard to see there, but you have to go pick up, one person picks up this canister, this battery canister, and they've got it down there at the bottom of the stairs. Here, this person's carrying it up the ramp right now. One person has to bring that battery canister all the way to the second floor, because there's a place where you need to plug that canister in to unlock the force field, which unlocks the elevator that gets you to the next area that you're going to go. But here, more snipers, more warriors, bunch of Trandoshans. These Trandoshan models are really cool. The art's really done well on them. They're a good mob. Good sort of trash to fight. Not a ton of them, not too many of them. Here we got another tracker. The tracker's stealth. We've got the snipers who've got the long range laser sighted sight that you saw. Some cool stuff. So you're fighting them. Now you see here's cubicles. We're going through the cubicles. So I think this is what you were talking about. This has got definitely that corporate office CZ198 feel to it. How's this looking?
Well, are we going to get to read their emails?
Good question. I did not see clickable emails and data pads. There is a data key card that you need to go hunt down, but I did not see, and maybe they're just not in yet, but that fun part of CZ198, I know that's what you're talking about, where you get to click the data pads and basically read their emails.
I mean, yes, and there's, I don't know, they're very corporate sounding. I mean, it's funny and it's adventurous, but it's also like every day.
Yes.
What I like about it.
So that reminds me, if anyone has ever heard of Jonathan Colton, he did a bunch of nerdy songs, maybe about 5 years ago and 6 years ago, and one of them is called RE Your Brains. So it's a song about zombies, but it's a song about zombies told from the perspective of a bunch of people in a corporate office, and a bunch, half the people are still like trapped in the office, and the other half of the people who were the other office workers are now zombies. So the whole song is the lyrics told from the point of view of one of the office workers named Tom, who's now a zombie.
Yes.
So
It's brilliant.
it's brilliant, and it's that kind of thing. I like that. It like all the corporate speak and everything, but from the perspective of the whatever catastrophe is going on, it's like, yeah. I just wanted to make a note here. We have Trandoshans disrupting the meeting today. If we could put a pin in this for now, and maybe reschedule. I'd like to table this discussion because Trandoshans just don't align with our corporate objectives, and the synergy
Yes.
of them shooting me with their blasters is not appropriate. That kind of thing.
Plus, I mean, on a different level, I mean, haven't there been days at work when you wanted to shoot a blaster at somebody?
Exactly. So here, you unlock the elevator, you kill the Trandoshans, you wind your way through the more of this office building. As you get through here, there's you'll get to the next hallway where there's a bunch of Trandoshans that we're killing here. In this part of the section, you're trying to find a data pad, a key card, because there's look at these desks. And take again. In fact, I think I zoom in here. Yeah, look at all the detail. Remember, who's that? Daniel, is that the world builder guy?
Yeah.
Who puts like all the detail into the world and everything that's going on. This data pad that's laying on the ground when I hit play here again, I think this is
I love that
a
thing.
mini version of the dance pad decoration that we get.
Yeah.
It's just repurposed. Look, it's the little dance pad, but it's got like there's like
It's a mini version, but fewer squares.
look at just all this stuff all over here. There's like a cybernetic arm. There's the injectors. There's like Harry Potter's wand here for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on. Just like a lot of detail. And what you need to do in these rooms is you need to seek out. There's corpses of these corporate office workers. You need to find the key card to get to the next section. So here we are. We're fighting our way through here. We're looking for the key card. Somebody ends up finding the character. It's in a different place each time. It's in the different. We tried to find it in the same place that we found it last time. It's not. It was in a different place. You finally find your way through the key card. You go up the ramp to the next floor above. Now we're up on like the third or fourth floor of this office building, and you get to the next boss fight. Now here we are at a broken window overlooking a broken area, which is actually a commuter area for this office building. That's a commuter railway in the back, and if you look down there, it's a big Trandoshan, and that one that I've got highlighted there is the green Trandoshan. And if I swing my camera around here a little bit, I don't know if I do it, but there's another one on the left that you can see as you look through this broken office window. That's the yellow one. We call these the Power Rangers. So this is boss fight number 3. Because there's the green one, the yellow one, and then as you start the fight, the blue one and the red one show up. So you're fighting 4 of these big Trandoshans with their power armor, the Power Rangers. Where's the good fight? I think it starts at about 131 in this video. So because we started the fight early and accidentally wiped. So let's go to 131 is the good version of the fight, I believe.
Instead of on purpose.
We sort of like learned how to do the fight. Because we had never done that fight before. This was the fight that you couldn't do before. So this is a cool fight. I like this fight. So each of the Power Ranger Trandoshans has different abilities. The green Power Ranger drops as soon as he gets up to like 10 stacks of his poison stacks, then he drops a big poison puddle on the ground that does a ton of damage, so you got to get out of it, but you can watch the stacks as they're going higher and higher, so you know when he's going to do it. And then each time you kill one, his friends get a bit angrier, but you can't kill these guys. That's the key to this fight. You have to DPS them down to, as soon as they get down to 15% health, they get stunned. Wherever they are, that's where they stay. They're stunned. The trick to this fight is, so here's the spoiler. Along the back is this commuter line railroad tracks.
Uh-huh.
And there's a console that's behind me to my left here that you'll see in a second that lights up during the fight. That console calls the commuter train. So the objective of the fight, which is kind of cool, is you know, 2 tanks. You're splitting up these 4 Power Rangers. You start the fight. You're fighting them. You're getting them. You're DPSing them down. If they're getting close to 15%, you need them on the tracks here when they get stunned. So they're stunned on the tracks, and then you have somebody click on
Oh,
the console to call the commuter train, and the commuter train flies down the
that's
tracks.
cold.
And the commuter train is controlled by the AI, and when you click, it's hilarious. So when you click the console, the AI says, "Stand by, commuter train will be arriving in 6 minutes. Stand by, commuter train will be arriving in error minutes. Stand by," and then the train comes. She says out loud, "Error minutes."
Yes.
So there, I
I got
swung
that.
my camera. You'll see here. We're DPSing him down. He's down to 30%. I keep swinging my camera back to see if the console lit up. The tank's dragging him to the tracks. Getting him down 22% on the tracks. Did you see me? Oh, did you see right there? I did 2 rocket outs. I did
Totally worth it.
2 rocket outs. I would get back here to the console, and now it lit up. And I say, "Is it ready? Is it ready? It's ready." I click it, and now we finished DPSing him to stun him. He's stunned on the tracks. If you're standing on the tracks when the train car comes, you die. If any of them are above 15%, they jump out of the way, and there goes the train. Train flies by, and it killed the first Power Ranger. There we go. So this is a good fight. Each of the Power Rangers, as I said, has different abilities. The blue one has a freeze ray that it's got. He's Mr. Freeze. So we picked an order. Maybe it's not the optimal order. See, there I am clicking the console again. In the harder versions in the nightmare mode, maybe there's a specific order that's going to be more optimal than the order we chose. But I think we did green, then yellow, then blue, then red. That's just the way we ended up doing it. You might be able to, in story mode, be killing, like DPSing multiples of them down at once, and getting, hitting multiples of them with the train at one time. There, I think we accidentally DPSed one down too far, and we had to wait for him to come out of stun. They start to regen when they're stunned if you stun them too early. So you sort of got to get all your timing down, but we got it down, and I think this is our 3rd time doing the fight, and we wiped twice, and then we figured it out, and we got it down. Doesn't seem like too hard of a fight once you've got it figured out, but it's pretty cool. So that's that.
I mean, it reminds me of the Wookiee fight in Ravagers.
Yeah, you're right.
Although
Torque.
the room is Torque, thank you. The room is a lot bigger, so you can see. You get a better view of that train coming through is really cool.
Yeah, that's a cool effect. You're killing the boss by running them over with a train. I like that. I think that was brilliant. Good job, Matt Pusevich. Here we'll watch as we. Oh, here I go. Rocket out once. Rocket out twice. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here I am over voice. Hit it, Max. I click the console. He's stunned on the tracks. We all stand back.
Only Mercs and Commandos can do the console because, we're critical. We got that critical.
Aria, the AI, you can see her voiceover in the upper left. Update, transport will be arriving in error minutes. The train is now arriving. The train is now departing. And I don't know if you saw his corpse go flying, and there's our loot crate, and we get loot. End of the boss fight. Good. So that is the third fight, and that leads us to then we go back down, and then we go to a little bit of a hilarious part right here. So that opens up another door to Spaceport Access Stairwell A. This is kind of hilarious. I don't know who thought this up, but here, I'm just gonna hit play and watch it as you go through. We got to run up these stairs. So now we're on level 4. If you watch your bar, you've got a fatigue stack that's stacking up, and each flight of stairs you get another fatigue stack, and your character starts to get like more and more fatigued the higher you go up, and the slower you go, you start to hunch over as you're like running up all these stairs. And now we're up to 7 and 8. You see I'm up to 6 stacks. Now I'm on level 8. You're just look, there I am. I'm hunched over. I'm huffing. I'm out of breath going up. So I don't know. This is hilarious. Just some big stairway. Nothing else. No, there's no like ads. You just run upstairs. And
Is there a top, or do you just go forever?
no, you do get to the top. You get to the spaceport at the top, and then as you get to the top, as you get to the and you do unlock an elevator that will get you up and down. In fact, we wiped
It,
on the next fight with the huntsman, the huntmaster, and we got a whisper from Matt Pusevich that said, "My God, man, take the elevator that's been unlocked," because we all started running up the stairs again. So yeah, you get up here, you do a little bit of something on the roof. I think you had to like unlock something, and then you get to run back. Then you get to jump down. Maybe we could have even taken the elevator down. But we had to come up to the roof or something to unlock the next part. Just kill a trash pack up on top here. That wasn't too tough. And then we ran down the stairway. I think we might have even been able to take the... Oh, maybe we were going to this next one. Oh, so then we... Up the one tower, down the next tower. There might have been an elevator we could have taken, but you can just sort of jump down the... We just kept jumping down the stairway here, which was kind of fun.
right.
So then you jump down the stairway to the next tower, and you get to the fourth fight, which is the Huntmaster. The Huntmaster he's more of a normal size, but he's a big Trandoshan boss. The deal here is he's on a hunt, right? And his abilities get more and more powerful the more mobs that he kills. And he's tagging mobs as his kills in this fight. In fact, you'll see throughout the fight, he actually has a tag that shows up above some of the mobs that he's tagged. And if he gets the killing blow on any of those mobs, it puts stacks on him that make him more and more powerful. The other thing that he's doing is he puts one of those light circles, those ability that we got. Remember I showed you that flare that we had early in the fight? That flare will repel some of the ads. When he starts the fight, he'll put a big flare on the ground, and none of the ads can come into that circle. So this is all a fight about managing the ads, killing ads while you're killing the boss so he doesn't kill them and he doesn't get too strong, managing where they're at. And then there's another kind of like grenade that's getting dropped on people that drops flame circles on the ground that you can use to kill the ads. We didn't figure this fight out completely. In fact, part of the reason we didn't figure the fight out completely is as you drop those flame grenades on the ground, there's supposed to be a telegraph so you can see that there's fire on the ground, but we couldn't see it because it was broken. So Matt said that that's going to get fixed. And this light circle is getting smaller and smaller. So we got close to figuring out. We just ran out of time for the night. But this is all a fight about managing the ads, killing ads while you're killing the Huntmaster. He's got a couple different kinds of phases that go through. See here, I had a flame circle on me that I could see, and then it ends up nobody else could see it, so they couldn't see to know to bring the ads in my circle, to kill the ads, etc., etc.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be too crazy of a fight. It's mostly about learning to kill the ads with the circles and stuff, but kind of cool. And that whole idea of the hunt master, and him being able to use his hunting capability and his desire to be killing these mobs as what he's then using to get more and more powerful, and that's sort of an enrage effect that's going on throughout the fight. His intermediate phase, he then puts a circle on himself. This big white circle is supposed to be a different color than white because that thing made us think we were supposed to be standing in it. And anything inside that radius, he's got a sniper shot in that phase where he's killing everybody. So we're supposed to be outside of it at that point, but trying to prevent him from killing ads still. So kind of cool. So that's the Huntsman fight. The last fight we did not get to. So I don't know what happens between this and the last fight, but I have a link to another group on YouTube here. So I can at least show you what it looks like. I'll let it play here a little bit. It's another fight in the facility somewhere, and it's this big, giant, crazy-looking, mutated boss monster that you're fighting. And I didn't catch, from watching these guys that were doing it, I didn't catch what all of the mechanics specifically were, but it looks like there's these grates on the ground and there's lights up above, and depending on what state the boss is in, those lights have different effects on the boss. In addition, there's missiles. There's like missile turrets on the boss's shoulders that you can line of sight. There's like a console in the middle of the room that you can try to get those missiles line of sighted away. And there's panels on the walls where there's batteries that are getting, like you can see the red text at the top of the screen. You have to like charge up the batteries to light up different consoles, and different things are happening throughout the fight that I didn't completely get, even from watching their video of them killing this boss, that are going on in this last fight. So this looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a traditional boss fight where you got to like get these mechanics done while you're killing the boss throughout this fight in this room. And he's he's got these different kind of poison cloud effect and different kind of enrage effects that are going on. So a little bit crazy of a fight, but looks kind of cool and more traditional. And I think it's going to be a good final fight for the operation. The kind of epic boss fight you'd expect is the final fight in an operation. So that's about it. That's the walkthrough. What are you thinking? What are you thinking on that sort of first look, Seema?
It looks pretty entertaining. I like fights that have lots of different mechanics and phases and stuff.
It looks like that Matt was able to give us some brand new things, some twists on normal fights, like the red fight at the beginning is more of a traditional boss, but then you got to like kite it throughout the canyons, and a little bit different. And then the gauntlet where we're like running all the way through and like needing to kite mobs throughout the whole way that we're winding our way through past the lightning towers. I thought that was I like that kind of thing. A little bit different, not a traditional big thing that you need to go kill. But then
right, you're not saving a planet.
And then the hunt master, or the four Trandoshans, the Power Rangers, that's really cool. I like that, and killing them with the train. Fight the hunt master. That sort of, I think, then completes the story of the Trandoshans that you're wiping out, and you kill the hunt master, and then the big mutated boss here at the end is the stuff that Zerka Corporation has been messing with. So it all flows to me. It all seems to make sense to me. I like, as you said, I like the corporate office, the Zerka Corporation as the meta boss that we're sort of defeating here. because they're the big evil corporation that does. They never asked if they only asked if they could. They never asked if they should, kind of thing going on. That I love this kind of theme. All right, so you're gonna come on the PTS and fight this with us this next week, Seema.
I'm gonna try.
And if
Are you gonna go on Saturday night?
if not, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask Marcus. I think either Friday or Saturday he'll probably try to get a fight going again.
He was getting a group together for Saturday.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be happy to try to do it again. And if not, I bet we'll be doing this this fall and this winter
Yes,
quite
we
a bit.
will.
So we'll have that to look forward to. All right. I think with that, we can wrap it up. I get our EPC 309 droid here ready to get kicked out an airlock and broadcast this podcast to everybody. Please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people that should be playing with us, tell them to come check us out. They can find us on YouTube. They can find us on twitch.tv/newoverlords. They can come find us on Starforge or our guild website at aie-guild.org, where they can find a link to Discord, and they can ask us for an AIE Guild invite, because that's what we're going for here. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.